Most Shopify store owners panic when conversion rates start dropping. At first, it's subtle. A fraction of a percent. Nothing dramatic. You tell yourself it's just the market. Maybe ad fatigue. Maybe competition. Maybe people are spending less. So, you do what almost everyone does. You change creatives. You test new audiences. You tweak product pages. You redesign sections that were already working. And sometimes, those changes help a little. But over time, the same pattern returns. Conversion rates slowly slide downward again. And this is where frustration really sets in, because nothing obvious is broken. The store still looks good. Traffic is still coming. Checkout still works. So, what's actually happening? Here's the uncomfortable truth most people don't want to hear. Most conversion rate drops are not marketing problems. They are performance decay problems, and performance decay is silent. It doesn't announce itself. It doesn't crash your store. It doesn't trigger alarms. It just quietly makes everything slightly worse. To understand this, you need to understand how Shopify stores evolve over time. When you first launch, your store is relatively simple. Few apps, light tracking, clean pages, minimal scripts, everything loads fast, everything feels smooth. But as the store grows, complexity creeps in. You add apps to increase conversion. You add pixels to track performance. You add scripts for analytics, retargeting, upsells, email capture, reviews, chat support. Each one makes sense individually. But together, they create weight. Every app loads code. Every script adds requests. Every integration adds friction. And unless the infrastructure underneath your store is designed to handle that growing complexity, performance slowly degrades. Here's the key point most people miss. Customers feel performance issues before you can measure them. A half-second delay doesn't show up clearly in your dashboard. A slightly laggy checkout doesn't trigger error logs, but it changes how customers behave. They scroll less, they hesitate more, they abandon carts quietly. And because nothing looks broken, store owners assume the problem is external. They blame traffic quality. They blame creatives. They blame the algorithm. But the system itself is aging under load. This is why many Shopify stores experience a gradual conversion decline rather than a sudden crash. It's not one big failure. It's thousands of tiny frictions adding up. And friction kills trust. Customers don't consciously think, "This site is slow." They think, "Something feels off." That feeling is enough to stop a purchase. This is where infrastructure becomes the hidden variable in conversion stability. Infrastructure determines whether performance stays consistent as complexity increases or slowly erodes over time. Platforms like Kinsta are designed with this exact problem in mind. They aren't built just to make a site work today. They're built to keep it working 6 months, 1 year, 2 years later, under more traffic, more scripts, and more pressure. That matters because successful Shopify stores don't get simpler, they get more complex. And complexity without strong infrastructure always leads to decay. Another overlooked factor is consistency across devices. Many sellers test their store on a powerful phone or fast Wi-Fi and assume everything is fine. But customers are on older devices, weaker connections, and unstable networks. Infrastructure determines how gracefully your store handles those conditions. A strong foundation smooths out variability. A weak one amplifies it. And again, customers don't explain why they leave. They just don't convert. This is why two stores with identical designs can have very different conversion rates over time. One has a foundation that absorbs complexity, the other accumulates friction. When conversion rates drop, most sellers try to fix symptoms. Very few fix the system, but professional brands understand this pattern early. They monitor performance not just at launch, but as the store evolves. They invest in infrastructure not because something is broken, but because they refuse to let decay set in. Kinsta fits into that strategy by focusing on speed, stability, and scalability under real-world conditions. It's not about chasing micro-optimizations. It's about protecting the baseline experience your customers feel every time they visit, because consistency is what builds trust, and trust is what converts. If your Shopify conversion rates have been slowly declining and none of the usual fixes seem to stick, it may be time to stop tweaking the surface and look underneath. Because when the foundation is strong, conversion rates don't just spike, they hold. And holding is what turns short-term wins into long-term businesses.